Hello, friends. Today is a special day. I want to introduce you to what became a very, very good friend of mine, even though we met about a month and a half ago. About a couple of months ago, many of you know I got an email from a friend, Jeremiah, that we haven't seen each other since March 2005, so 17 years ago. And then Jeremiah is a policeman in Chattanooga now, and he reached out to us saying they want to come with some friends of his to come and help us in Ukraine. And Cuba, to my right here, welcome Cuba. He's a friend of Jeremiah. He came, and Cuba, let me say, first of all, thank you. Thank you for what you've done. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear from Cuba what he's been doing in the last month and a half. So, Cuba, let me ask with this first question. First of all, how long have you been in Ukraine in the last month and a half?
Inside Ukraine, I've been about 3 weeks in total. Yeah.
Total of 3 weeks inside Ukraine. So, where exactly?
Mainly Odessa. I've been staying with locals in Odessa, and we've been to other parts like Mykolaiv, uh, Kiev, and closer regions near Kherson or Kharkiv.
Okay, okay. So, guys, you already know Odessa. It's a place a city that definitely Russia wants to conquer, and it's been hit. And tell us a little bit about your. This is what I like about this whole story: how God placed everything together. So when Jeremiah came with Cuba and five more guys, I think you were seven total.
Yeah, we're seven total.
We connected them with Sasha, and I talked to you about Sasha many times. He's the pastor that we've been helping in the last couple of months, and so basically Cuba and Sasha, they worked together for 3 weeks, basically going to the exact places that Sasha has been telling us about. So what was your experience, Cuba, with Sasha and everything that happened in the last 3 weeks?
It's been a great experience. I live with Sasha. He opened his house to me, one of his rooms. So we've been having a lot of, time to spend together, getting to know each other better, and getting to talk a lot more about the needs, that him and his group of volunteers need, his church. And then at the same time, living with him, I've been able to make contact with a lot more people, small little churches, volunteers that nobody hears about the stuff that they're doing, and how many people actually depend on them for food, basic supplies, food, or cleaning supplies, hygiene supplies, medicine. It's very incredible. At the end of the day, it was incredible. Just
How do people react when we take all these things to them?
crazy. The need is big. Mainly financial. Many times we cannot afford buying the food. And whenever you guys bring, you go from one bus to three buses full of stuff. It's
Just this last weekend, yesterday,
Yeah.
Marius came back. We helped send three vans
Yeah.
full of stuff. Marius even helped get a friend of his that has a bigger van, like 3.5 tons of food supplies, everything. We load them, and I had to stay home. I feel bad, even though this last weekend we had. I'll tell you this joke. I hope you're gonna stay and listen. But we had a conference and about family and leadership at our church. But during the Mia College, my friend Chris Cobble was talking how David, when he sinned with Bathsheba, he wasn't at the war like all the kings during those times. He stayed home. And that's when he sinned with Bathsheba. And I was thinking while I was translating for him, should I be in Ukraine right now or here translating for Mia College? But anyway, it is what it is. Praise God. By His mercy and grace, I hope I didn't sin in any way, but I had to stay home. But Marius faithfully went and helped. Anyway, sorry for that parenthesis. But so it's amazing. I didn't know you've been staying with Sasha, so I know
Yeah.
that guy has a huge, huge heart. I know he's missing his family. His wife and daughter, are they in Germany, I think?
They're in Germany now. Yeah, they were able to get a apartment and
Mm-hmm.
getting their lives a little more back to normal. I guess
Yeah.
getting out of the refugee status, and life into back into trying to get back into a normal routine, normal life.
I want you guys just to remember this, just to think a little bit about this, because this will be a great prayer request for you and your church. Just think about, put yourself into Sasha's place, young pastor in Ukraine, helping everybody, while your wife and kid are away in Germany, trying to stay safe, which sounds great. But think about what's in the heart of Sasha's wife, and I'm sorry to say I don't even know her name. Um, I know I have it written down somewhere, but in her heart, knowing her husband is left behind in the war to fight the good fight for the Lord, and even though you know this, Sasha could go to Germany. He has double citizenship. He can leave Ukraine whenever he wants, but he stays there. And tell me some of the things that you and Sasha have been doing while in Ukraine.
The first time that we met Sasha, we took them medical equipment. Mainly for military medical equipment, and after that we talked a little bit more about what we wanted to do, and he agreed. He went with us to Mykolaiv. At the time it was a place that was probably just like now again. Getting bombed almost on a daily basis, very dangerous. It was a ghost town. Everywhere we went, we were almost the only vehicles
Mm-hmm.
going. But we took three vans that day. Two of them full of food, the other one full of medications. And we took them to what at the time I didn't know, but it ended up being a church. Another church. It's a series of small little churches connecting each other. Helping each other spread food supplies and stuff like that. And that was pretty amazing to see. I'm loading a sack of potatoes in, and I see a bunch of chairs, and I see a kid practicing for it was a Saturday, so he's practicing for worship for the next day. But there's like piles of food and that stuff around the walls, and Sasha's church is exactly the same. You see the main stage is taken over by food and clothes and medications, and so they had to move, the church to a little bit of a corner. There's not many people left anymore, that are coming to church because most of them have left. But still, they still try to keep having the church going every Sunday.
Okay.
Besides
So where are these
everything.
supplies that we are sending going?
So most of the supplies, that like I received the one from Marius and all crew, they come straight to Sasha's church. We unload, we go through them, and then once we go through them, we see what we have, and then we talk about what we can send somewhere else, what needs we have inside the city of Odessa, what needs are in other places like Mykolaiv or Kharkiv or Kherson, and we try to share them, around, see, if it's needed somewhere else more than it's needed in Odessa itself, we send it there. We have members of our team, that make trips almost weekly or every 2 weeks to Mykolaiv. Before it was every 2 days, but after discovering all the other churches, we try to work together to facilitate kind of everybody's job. So if they're going to Mykolaiv, we pass the stuff over to them to take it over to another city, or wherever it has to go.
Okay.
We also have a lot of individual requests many times. So if it's individual requests, we see what we have and we distribute.
Okay. Are you helping any soldiers or?
Yes, my main help towards soldiers, have been people that end up finding out, that American is there, or that, there's people trying to supply stuff. I'm mainly contacted by their families, families requesting stuff because their son, their husband, or their brother, was drafted, and now they have a matter of 10 days to 2 weeks, to gather all these stuff, by themselves. It can be something that's necessary, body armor, helmets, boots, gloves, stuff that carriers for your plates, stuff that in a normal basis in the U.S. Army, you get
Automatically.
automatically,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's you think it's normal, but here, people go to the front lines with no helmets, with no body armor, with nothing, with no sleeping bags many times, because
Let me emphasize on that, Cuba. So this is one of the greatest needs the Ukrainian families they need right now. Their kids, um, young guys, young fathers, they are drafted into the army, and they don't have equipment, the necessary equipment. Even though there are many talks that European countries send equipment for the soldiers, it seems like it all went to the northwest side of Ukraine, and this way doesn't help the people that are really hurt into the southeast part of Ukraine. So Cuba and his friend has been trying to help them, but imagine, like just Cuba said, these young soldiers, they are leaving without helmets, without anything. And this is what our ministry is trying to come alongside and help them. And I already made some notes to call some friends. I need to find where we can purchase these things in Romania, and also if we are allowed to cross the border with it. So even right now, Roxanne and I in Cuba, we went because his team from Chattanooga, they sent us almost a month ago medical equipment worth $19,000. But the Romanian government, they were asking us to pay taxes on it, $4,000. And I said, it comes from a nonprofit to a nonprofit going to Ukraine. We don't need to pay taxes on it. So because we didn't want to pay taxes on it, they send us to all these officials trying to get all kinds of papers. Even the lady that we talked to, I'm making this story way too long, that she has a book, she doesn't have a file right now from us with everything that she needs. And she's supposed to give us an answer in the next half an hour. When can we go to pick up the stuff so we can take it? These are medical first aid kits.
Yeah, they're medical first aid kits. Individual first aid kits, also called known as IFACs. They're supposed to be for soldiers. Combat related stuff that's needed in combat.
So we mentioned $19,000. How much were you able to gather in this trip to spend, just to give an idea of people to realize? It takes money to do what you do, guys.
So in total, so far, we have spent about $70,000. The first trip that we made down here, we had lists of a lot of requests, specific requests of stuff. So it was more, spending a lot more money on big stuff, medical stuff, food-wise, or different stuff. Even donating vehicles, that was necessary to evacuate people. And now, my job now is to facilitate, the how to be able to get food. Both from inside Odessa and Ukraine, and from other people like you, Marius. Helping from outside Ukraine. We're trying to organize everything and make it into a little system where we can work like a little machine and start get this going. Sasha's idea. He knows after the war, this need people being left without homes, people left without jobs, people left without money. Refugees coming to Odessa. Because they have started a small little refugee camp themselves. And they provide food for them too.
Sasha did, which we are helping with providing.
And he knows this is not going to stop after the war. These people are still going to need help. After the war. So the organization they're trying to build, with his volunteers of young people, very young, younger than me, most of them. It's called Restoration Ukraine. He wants to restore Ukraine, rebuild it, help it, and it's amazing to see young people, willing to work, every day for 6-7 days a week, just non-stop every day, just to be able to supply basic stuff to their neighbors, people that have been left behind, by family members or just forgotten by Ukraine itself, but they're there.
This is a blessing, guys, because Sasha is the guy who is on the ground all the time in front of the people, helping, giving, and just God to lay on Cuba's heart to basically be his right hand. He's helping Sasha be more organized and strategic, and he's helping him put everything under Excel. The people that receive packages, so they will know how to help them and when, because sometimes people they go to more than one places to get packages, and they get more than others. So Cuba is coming alongside to make sure that everybody gets a fair, and like in every world, every place, no matter what country you are, there are people that are trying to break the system. So thank you, Cuba, for being here and helping Sasha with that. I think it's great because we are all to be given accountability to what God is giving us and how we steward what God is giving us. Okay, last question. And guys, please feel free to share this video with your church, with your Sunday school class, with your friends. Cuba is leaving tomorrow back to United States, but he's coming back when?
On the 19th. Also, I leave the U.S. back on the 18th. Yeah.
So on the 19th, you will be here.
I'll be him back in Brooklyn.
And then we're gonna help him, Marius. I'm working with Marius to help get Cuba back into Ukraine. And we also want to send again the vans full with stuff as they're gonna go with Cuba and Marius into Ukraine. So we need your help. So Cuba, how can people in the United States help us?
The main thing that we're trying to do, donations are great. They're necessary. The more stable the donations coming, the more we can work with, the more we know how to spend the money. So far, right now, we spend about maybe $1,000, $1,200 on food, once or twice a week, mostly once a week. And these are basic foods, products mainly like rice, bulgur, flour, oil, and some canned food, canned corn, canned meat. And this is to be able to provide food like over 600 to 1,000 packages, a week that we pass out. We're trying to, eventually the funds of my team, is going to come to an end, and we want to keep this going, for a longer period of time. So, any kind of help, any kind of funds, will definitely help a lot. We've been keeping accountability of every dollar, where it's spent, how it's been spent. If not, if you want to donate clothes, medications, medications are always needed, from the very basics, like paracetamol or small stuff like that, to, burn gels, dressings, wound care, blood control kits, that kind of stuff is also very, very needed. And even stuff like power banks, soldiers are asking a lot of time power banks, so they can keep their phones charged. Now we're looking for generators, diesel generators, to send to the trenches and to the soldiers, so that they can start charging using stuff. They ask for as stuff like thermos big enough to be able to share between themselves, coffee, everything. Honestly, I mean, we've been finding stuff for everything. We got the other day a box of carabiners. We were like, I even thought, like, what do we need carabiners for? And then not a day later, a wife of an American pastor that's there in Odessa asked me, her brother had been drafted, and he was looking for carabiners, and he asked for 26, one for each person, and we had exactly 26.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, well, here it is. We found a purpose for the carabiners.
Yeah. I remember when Sasha asked for carabines, and anyway. Guys, this video is gonna turn long, and I don't want that, because I know people are watching Instagram 30 seconds videos the most, but and I know probably many people haven't watching until now. But I'll tell you this: I was just showing Cuba. We just ordered a trailer to come, so we can pack more mattresses and put the heavy stuff into the van. I'm also working with another guy to bring us a new van, not a new van, from Germany, because I would like to have either me doing a trip once a week, or somebody in our ministry at least once a week to fill out the vans, the trailer, go with Marius, and help this guy provide for them everything that we can find in Romania to buy. So thank you again for what you've been giving so far, but please know that the war is not over. And just like Cuba was saying earlier, between me and him, he thinks this war it's gonna last at least 6 to 8 more months. So please be praying for Sasha, for Cuba. These guys are going downtown the cities. I'm going inside Ukraine, but I'm going into the safe area, if you could put it that way. Ismail is pretty safe where I'm going. You can hear the sirens, the bombs sometimes, but it's far away from the war zone. But these guys are going where the real stuff is. They are picking up the goods from us and they go downtown and give it to the right people. So pray for all of us, and we thank you for everything you've been doing so far, for Sasha, for Life Romania, and everybody else in Ukraine. May God bless you. Bye bye.